We've waited 365 days for this moment. It's Super Bowl 60. Seahawks, Patriots. We're breaking it down, telling you all the bets you got to get down to have an awesome Super Bowl Sunday. Stay tuned for our Super Bowl Propapalooza episode starting now. Welcome, football fans, to another edition, a Super Bowl edition of the Degen Talks. What is up, folks? It is time. It is a joyous time. It is a sad time because it is the last NFL episode for us here at the Degen Talks for this season. Because it's the Super Bowl, brother. Hey, look, we are the Degen Docs, and I have the pleasure of being joined every night that we are on this show by my brother in degeneracy, Mr. Derek Bennett, a.k.a. Professor Locks. How we doing tonight, brother?
Good, a question for you.
Uh-oh.
Heads or tails? What's the coin flip going to be? Let's start
Tails
this.
never fails. Right. Tails never fails.
Okay. I don't mind that.
You? Are you a heads guy?
No, I'm typically a tails guy. In my thought process is there's more shit on the tails side of a coin, so it has to be a little heavier. Maybe it'll,
Oh, we're getting scientific with it. Okay.
I don't know if that's actually been proven.
Yes, that is a great lead off here. Look, folks, hey, if this is your first time joining us, way to come in at the end here. But hey, we're always welcoming new members of this family, this degenerate family that we have, that we call a family. It is the Super Bowl 60 Propapalooza episode. A little bit of show structure, letting you know what you expect, what you can be getting into today here. Look, we'll talk a little bit of banter. We got a couple things in the NFL to get to. We will, of course, break down the Super Bowl, and it's going to be a props-focused episode, because we already did a normal Super Bowl breakdown with our picks of the spread and the total and those things last week. So check that out if you haven't already. And then we are giving you a chance to win $100 today. Stay tuned for that. A little bit of a contest we'll be running. And, of course, we will finish with everyone's favorite segment, our best bets segment, Look, brother, Super Bowl 60. What a time, man. It is great time, because it's the Super Bowl. It's the best event in the world. But that does mean that football is unfortunately over for a little bit. But hey, look, I know there's a lot to think about. The winter, it's cold. You got this snow. Yeah, it is cold. We got the snowstorm going on. We got the huge, daunting fact that football is soon going to be over. So if you're feeling down, if you're feeling a little bit sad right now, just know you are not the biggest loser on this planet, because that prize goes to none other than this fella here, loser Lions fan, as I like to call him. I really don't even know his name. Maybe you do, but basically this is the dude that caused in this altercation, he basically said some pretty bad shit to DK Metcalf. I'm sure it wasn't nice. I don't know if it's ever been I don't know how we're going to prove it. He said, she said, but he was agitating, antagonizing DK Metcalf on the sideline. He already had an incident with him in previous years when he was on the Seahawks. And basically, he may face the reality that I think a lot of people need to face, is that the real world isn't social media. You can't just say whatever you want, especially to a very large human being who is very emotional. So DK Metcalf probably shouldn't have put hands on somebody. But sometimes when you mess around, you find out really quickly the real world is not social media. So, look, DK Metcalf got suspended, blah, blah, blah. This clown held a press conference to just try to draw more attention. And then, what was it, this week? You told me, what, yesterday or some shit?
Yeah. There's now a rumor that he is suing DK Metcalf, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I can't remember what the media.
The Ocho Cinco and Sterling.
And Sterling
whatever they are.
Whatever their podcast is named. He's suing them for $100 million.
That sounds like what is it, Austin Powers? $100 million. Like, yeah, like, yeah, you've got the same amount of chance
Yeah,
as they have in getting that money, buddy. But yeah,
right,
no, just dude,
right.
come on. Your 15 minutes of being an asshole is over.
Yeah.
Absolute clown move by this guy. So good news again, folks. You are not the biggest loser of this week. So
Nope.
pat yourself on the back, man. You know, cheers to everybody there. Cheers to you, brother.
What are you drinking over there?
You know, that leads me into the next thing I wanted to talk about with you, and that is this is the last NFL game of the year.
Yep.
Last week, the NFL was gracious enough to give us a Super Bowl prep day for Sunday. Unfortunately, my
You mean you weren't locked into Joe Flacco playing flag football in the Pro Bowl?
no, and I'm pretty sure I had literally I don't even think it was on Sunday.
Oh,
I think it wasn't like
yeah.
I don't know, dude. It's
I have no
ridiculous, but
idea.
I tried to frame it as that to my wife. I was like, hey, NFL's giving this day to prepare for the Super Bowl. Like, I got to lock in, watch, I was watching reruns of the game.
Sure,
She
sure.
didn't fly for that. So I know that my first Sunday without football, I spent having to thrift shop and what was the other thing I had to do? Go to Home Depot and do home renovation stuff.
Fun.
Now, what I will say is my one purchase of this thrift shopping is this little guy here, day drinking from a mug to keep things professional. So
Sure.
all in all, not the worst. How was your
Pretty
first
solid purchase there.
Sunday of the year?
Yeah. What did I do? I guess last Saturday, the family and I mean, my dad's a big Les Mis fan.
There you go.
So we went over to the big city and watched the Broadway show Les Mis. It was an awesome show. Definitely a tragedy. And so it was kind of like watching my Steelers get their ass kicked by the Texans a few weeks back. But no, it was a good time.
I
Sunday was just catching up on other household things.
right. I
we,
thought you were.
we were definitely missing something last
Yeah.
week.
I thought you were going to go the tragedy route of no football, a piece of us missing, right?
That's
But
true
hey,
too.
it,
That's true too.
this is the last. No more being sad because we still have one game, and it is
Yeah.
an amazing game, and we are going to give out all the bets for you guys. We've got a shit ton of bets here. We've even
We've
got
had some extra time to prep.
we've had a
So
lot of
even
time to
though
prepare.
we did have busy weekends last week.
Yeah, really, really, really busy weekends.
Yeah.
But hey, folks, look, obviously we're having some fun here. But last NFL episode of the season,
Yep.
we're very excited, ready to make this. Let's just make a shit ton of money and have some fun. So
No
that's
doubt.
exactly what we're gonna do. Again, we are gonna talk the Super Bowl here. However, we are not going to what's it called? We're not going to go do the game breakdown and all that stuff again
Already did that.
because we had a whole episode for it. So if you missed that, good news. You still have a couple days. Go check it out. We recorded it last week. Obviously, you'll probably get some hints on what side we're going to be on based on our plays and things like that. But this is solely going to be props.
Sure.
And don't worry, like we said, we've got a shit ton. I will intro the game just to kind of set the mood, as you will. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So Super Bowl 60. These lines are courtesy of DraftKings. We are just using that for ease, but we'll give out plays from all over the sportsbook sphere until we become sponsored by one of them, and then we'll play by the rules. But for now, we're just price shopping like you should. Super Bowl 60, we've got Sunday, February 8th, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time, which means it probably won't start till at least 7, maybe 8, with the way that the Super Bowl is going to be functioning.
For sure.
You've got the 14-3, number 1 seed, Seattle Seahawks, taking on the 14-3, number 2 seed, New England Patriots. Obviously, that is from the regular season. We know they are 3-0 in the playoffs. You've got the Seahawks laying 4.5 there. Minus 238 on the money line. You've got the over-under sitting at 45.5. The Patriots catching the 4.5, plus 195 on the money line. This is at the 49ers Stadium there in Santa Clara Levi Stadium. One team a little bit more familiar with playing there than the other team. The weather for this, it's kind of been bouncing around. I've been trying to keep track of it. Weathermen, I guess, to their
Feels like it
credit.
shouldn't be affecting too much.
No, it should be pretty damn nice.
Yeah.
60s, maybe 50s as it gets a little bit later. Partly cloudy, light winds. There's a chance for a little bit of rain, but even that is kind of dissipating over time, and does not seem like you said it's going to really affect a whole lot. A little bit of the injury stuff. Again, did a lot more of this in the full breakdown. Go check it out last week. But essentially, both teams looking pretty healthy. At this point, Drake May, Sam Darnold, they both were dealing with a little bit of thing. The week off has been
That'll be
good for
good.
them. Darnold and May are going to play. May's dealing with the shoulder injury. People are kind of making it more than it really has to be. He's going to be fine. He's going to play. They maybe Patriots fans will blame it on the shoulder if things don't go well, but I'm not taking that too heavily into my handicap. Charles Cross, left tackle for the Seahawks, and linebacker Drake Thomas, who both got a little bit banged up last game, should be good to go. Now, the Patriots, the two guys that actually have some question around them is their stud linebacker, their Mr. Do-It-All, Robert Spillane. He injured his ankle early on in the game last week, but
Never
he
came
is
back.
confident that he's going to play. So he says. He has not officially practiced yet, so as of today, we're recording this Wednesday. This is, the actual week of the Super Bowl, so these practices matter. I haven't gotten the Patriots or the Seahawks practice report just because that's coming out later. They're in California. Shit's going to come out later. But I think Spillane with the ankle has a decent chance to play. I don't think he'll be 100%, but I do think he's going to give it a go.
Great.
Now, the one I'm actually concerned about not playing, or if he is, I'm not confident. Outside linebacker Harold Landry. He's been dealing with a knee injury for several weeks. Even in the divisional round game, he only played 11 snaps. Then he missed the AFC conference game. He has not practiced in 6 or 5 straight practices. He actually, even if he does play, I don't think he's going to be a factor. And I do think we could take advantage of this in the sack markets because I think it's better if he's even out there because I don't think he's going to get a lot of snaps. And some of those other edge rushers are you getting a little bit more value with the fact that people think Landry is going to be back because Landry was the leading sack guy for the Patriots, but he's just not been the same since this knee injury. So that's the injury report. Not a ton there, which is great because both these teams are healthy. Now, as we said, we have a shit ton of bets for you. We are going to break this down by a little bit of segments here. So the first one up for Super Bowl 60 is what we call Catch Me If You Can. And this is basically what we just clumped in all our offensive props because most of them are going to be rushing and receiving. So catch me if you can. Brother, I will let you lead off here because one, I know I have a shit ton, so I will probably have some overlap and piggyback off you. And the people need to hear your analysis on this game. So let's get to it, brother. What is the first play?
Yeah, I mean, we know that both of these teams are more led by their defense. The Seahawks have a more prolific offense as a whole, in my opinion, but both teams are led by their defense. And I think especially early on, both teams are going to want to kind of feel each other out. We're going to see a lot of run plays, in my opinion, called in the first quarter, which leads me to my first prop, which is kind of a fun one. It's not your typical, but if Kenneth Walker and Ramondre Stevenson both record at least 5 rushing yards in each quarter, plus 450
in each quarter. Okay, I like that. So, you see these plays a lot because they're popular. They're an eye catcher with the prices and stuff. I think this game particularly is nice because the workload is so high.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, between Charbonnet being out on one side and then Trevion Henderson just has not been super hot as of late. They've been feeding Ramondre Stevenson a ton. I think that both teams are going to want to establish the run early and often, and then in the second half, either if in fact the Seahawks get out to a lead, I think they're still going to they'll have to run the ball just to burn clock. And, learn from the Falcons' mistake going up against the Patriots a few years back. But on the other hand, Ramondre Stevenson is a guy that he's just a bruiser that. A couple hands or a couple carries, he can easily get to 5 yards in a quarter. So,
Yeah, looking at my sheet, I just realized I don't know if I have any rushing. I don't have any running back rushing plays there, but I will take you to a tight end,
Okay.
and it's probably not the one you guys are thinking about. Give me New England Patriots tight end Austin Hooper
Oh,
over 9.5 receiving yards, -110 over on
that's
FanDuel.
a guy.
Look, the Seahawks are very susceptible to the tight end. They've given
Yes.
up some big games. In the playoffs, they've allowed Parkinson, Higbee, and Jake Tungus, three tight ends in just two games to go over this number.
Yep.
And Hooper is a guy that he's hit this in 11 out of his 19 games. Like if he gets a catch, basically he is going to hit this number. It's a very, very low number. And I think, kind of a macro take, you're going to see this with a lot of my plays, really both these teams on offense. I think that the cover guys, we talked about Christian Gonzalez, Carlton Davis. You've got Devon Witherspoon. You've got Tyreek Woolens coming along, Josh Jobe, Nick and Monworthy. Like the cover guys, these secondaries are really good. And throwing to the outside receivers, I think, is going to be very tough. So the middle of the field, the tight ends and the running backs is where a lot of these are going to go for me. But I think Austin Hooper, over the 9.5 receiving yards. Everyone's on Hunter Henry. So I also like the pivot there, getting away from the massive public. I think I saw 99% of bets are on Henry's over receiving yards. So that might be one actually wait until it gets inflated and kind of zag the other way. But this is a little bit of zag just going with the Austin Hooper over 9.5.
Yeah, no, I really like that play, which leads me to my next play. Let's keep with the tight ends, but let's switch over to the other side. Let's talk AJ Barner. I'll take his over 24.5 receiving yards as well. I mean, the Patriots, um, fairly similar to the Seahawks. They got some outside cover guys.
Yeah.
Their linebacking core safeties don't do as great of a job against the tight end position. I mean, if we were looking back over the past, I don't know, half a dozen games here, I mean, the Broncos just haven't been or they never did really feed the tight end position nearly as much as either one of us thought they
No.
would,
Yeah.
with Ingram going there. But I mean, the Texans had 70 yards at the tight end position. The Chargers
Yeah.
had 42. Dolphins had
Yeah.
39. I mean, in general, they're giving up probably around 50 to 55 yards a game to the tight end position. And I think AJ Barner is going to be there, especially if Christian Gonzalez tries to take away JSN.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really think Barner is going to have himself a little bit of a day. So over 24.5 at -107.
Yeah, no, I love that, and I like the price you got. Was that over at DK there that
It
you got?
was. Yeah,
Okay,
yes.
yeah, no, that's nice. I'm on that play as well, because a lot of what you said, Pats have given this up in 2 out of 3 playoff games to the tight end. The only one wasn't the Evan Ingram, who just has been a non-factor all year, and it's Jarrett Stidham, and it was a blizzard in the second half. He still got 19. He was third leading receiver. Barner, he's been a little bit of a missing in the playoffs, but in 6 out of the last 8 games to end the regular season,
Mhm.
or 6 out of 8 games to end the regular season, there he hit that number. So he was very involved, and then the playoffs, it's just kind of not been the game scripts for him. But again, I do think that JSN will get his, but it's going to be a little bit more difficult to go through on the outside. So I think Barner is going to have to step up. 24.5, I think, is an extremely low number. So I'm on that with you, brother, man. I do like that one a lot. What else you got?
Let's go to George Halani. Give me his over 10.5 rushing yards in
Okay.
this one. He did get a few carries in the game just this past week against the Rams. Didn't have too much success
Right.
against the Rams, but I do think, in my opinion, I think the Seahawks kind of run away with this one a little bit, and they do end up burning clock in the second half. I think a lot of that's going to be Kenneth Walker, but I do think they've been spelling the running backs all season, whether it was Charbonnet or now Halani. So I do think that he gets to that 10.5 rushing yards.
Yeah. I have a Halani play as well. It's just the other way. It's the 10.5 receiving yards.
Yeah.
That's over at Bet 365 -110. Yeah, I think a lot of what you said, he was involved. He did get the 3 carries. It just, he didn't get the yards on that one for whatever reason. But he had 3 catches on 4 targets for 27 yards last
He's
week,
out there
right?
all the time. Yep.
He was, and I went back and I watched that game last week, and I was surprised. Like almost every third down, he was out there, and
Yep.
it's interesting because Kenneth Walker is a pretty solid receiving back as
No doubt.
well, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But this is one where I think the Patriots are okay giving that up. He's out there on third downs, and they're a very blitz heavy team. So I think the dump off is going to have to be a quick available option for Darnold to avoid those sacks and avoid the turnovers and things like that. So I think Kalani, showed a little bit of pop, and if he's going to be out there on third downs, then I think both these numbers are very low. So both on the Kalani train a little bit. And I mean, Kenneth Walker is great, but he can't be out there for every single play. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to take us to. I said I didn't have any running back rushing props, but I do have a couple quarterback props, and just because I have a shit ton of bets, I'm going to start grouping them together. But I'm on both quarterbacks rushing. Now, Drake May rushing yards is where I'll go over 36.5, -110 over at FanDuel.
Okay.
A couple of reasons here. One, he's hit this in 3 out of the last 4 games. In the playoffs, I mean, he almost, for a good stretch of the last game, he had more rushing yards than passing yards. Like, It's been a big portion of his game. But we've talked about it last episode, but this Patriots offensive line is a liability. And now they're going up against one of the best front fours in football in the Seattle Seahawks. They can generate pressures with their front four. Will Campbell, the rookie left guard, they are both a liability. Like, Drake May has been sacked 5 times in each of the 3 playoff games. That's insane, man. Like, I know because the games have been so ugly and their defense has stepped up, it's kind of gone under the radar, but he has been under an immense amount of pressure, and I do not see that changing again. So I think he's going to have to use his legs. And we look at what the Seahawks last 4 games they've played. They allowed Brock Purdy 5 rushes for 37 yards. Matt Stafford even got 2 rushes for 16 yards. 2 for 21 for Purdy last time, and then Young 9 rushes for 27 yards. I think Drake, those are all guys that can move, but Drake May is clearly the best rusher of that group, and he does implement his game. We've seen it, so I like him there. I understand it's a bit of a high number for a quarterback, but I think he does smash this. And then on the other side, look, I don't mind Darnold's rush yards because it's a pretty low number. But actually, where I'm going to go is I'm going to go his rush attempts. Give me Darnold's rush attempts over 2.5 at +112 over at FanDuel. I think this is insane that this is even at plus money. He had 3 rushes last game. He's hit this number in, let's see, 1, 2. Oh my goodness! So essentially, in the last 7 games, he's gone 3 rushes last week, 0 the week before against San Fran in the blowout. Then he had 6, 3, 3, 4, 3. Like, he has hit this number at a very high rate. And, again, we're both a little bit pro Seahawks here. So whether it's kneel downs or actual rush attempts, the New England Patriots are going to blitz you. So sometimes you're going to have to evade that blitz and get out of there. So I like Darnold to scamper a little bit. I think he's the rush attempts, I think that's insanely low. So I'm going with the over 2.5 +112. All right, what you got next on the docket?
Yeah, let me see here. What else do I want to throw out here? Have we talked about Kenneth Walker at all?
Not yet. Not in the way I hope we're going to talk about him.
Yeah, I love his receiving yards in this one. Give me his over 20.5 receiving yards at -110. I mean, we mentioned it earlier. I mean, in general, both of these defenses are really good. They're really good. They have really good front fours, and they have really good secondaries, or at least outside guys. Linebacker is where they typically struggle, and I think that Kenneth Walker is a guy that is a very capable receiving back. He has that explosive capability, and they like to feed that the running backs through the receiving angles there. So, yeah, I absolutely love Kenneth Walker from a receiving standpoint. Rushing-wise, the Patriots really put the hammer down when it comes to running backs. So, yeah, give me his receiving over 20.5.
I love this. This is one of my favorite plays on the board. Kenneth Walker over the 20.5 receiving yards there, -110 at FanDuel. He's hit this in 4 out of his last 5 games. And when you look at New England, they've given up 20, 19, and 22 yards to running backs in the playoffs. They are a blitzing team. And when I was rewatching the game, the last game with the Seahawks, the last couple games, they love the screen game to him. They
It-
absolutely love it. So
Yep.
I can absolutely see the Patriots bringing a blitz to get pressure because they struggle a little bit more to get pressure with just their front four.
Yep.
And that screen pass coming at the perfect time. And Walker's a very explosive back, man. We saw it a couple times
Yep.
already this season. He does not need a lot of
Finds
room
an
to go ahead.
edge. He's
Yeah,
good.
he's gone, man. So I love this play for multiple reasons. The fact that he's going to be out there all the time, but really the screen game, they have been very effective in this Kubiak offense to run the screen game at appropriate times. And if they catch the Patriots in one of their blitzes, look out. He could
Yep.
be gone. So I love that play there. All right, a couple other ones I want to get to here. I'm going to go to the other side. Ramondre Stevenson over 22.5 receiving yards. Look, he's a guy that we talked about Travion Henderson. Like they just are not putting him out there, right? And if they're not going to trust the kid in the playoffs, they're not going to trust him in the Super Bowl. They're
Right.
not suddenly going to allow. I understand the fantasy people and everyone sees the speed and we're like, why is he not out there, right? Like what? I mean, he's not good in pass protection. That's
Mhm.
just point blank right now. A lot of rookie running backs struggle with that.
Yep.
Ramondre Stevenson is much better. Ramondre Stevenson's actually a really good pass blocker, but
Yeah.
he's gonna be out there. You know, he had 4 catches in the first or 3 catches in the first game for 75 yards. 4 catches for only 11 against Houston, and then he didn't have any in that ugly kind of game where nobody was trying to throw the ball. But
Right.
he is someone that is effective in the running game. I mean, he has 88 yards on the year or on in one game, 38 yards he has, 40, 55, like 27, 27. He is pretty effective as well. And getting back to pressure on Drake May, the dump off's going to have to be there. So
Yep.
I think both the running backs have eat in this one. 3 of the running backs I'm taking the rushing yards over, or excuse me, receiving yards over, because I do think that going to be tough to throw to the outside. A bit of pressure, whether it's through the blitz or just through the pass rush.
Right.
Let's go ahead and dump off to the running back. So, all right, what else do you got for us here on the offensive side of the ball?
Last one that I want to throw out is Sam Darnold. Give me his over 230 and a half passing yards at minus 111.
Okay.
I think I've already thrown out 2 overs to AJ Barner and Kenneth Walker. We haven't talked about JSN. I mean, I know Christian Gonzalez is an incredible corner. He's one of the best in the league. He's not going to necessarily just completely eliminate him from the
No,
game. Um,
can't.
and that dude, I mean, he could still have 8 catches for 88 yards and a touchdown
Yeah.
in this game.
Yeah.
I think that Sam Darnold is going to have to throw the ball. Again, the strength of that New England defense is the rushing defense.
Yep.
So yeah, give me Sam Darnold over 230 and a half passing yards at minus 111.
No, I mean, I like that. I do think there is going to be some yards, and I don't think there's going to be a shit ton of points in this one, but I do think there's going to be some yards and tighten some things down. JSN he's played against Derek Stingley. He's played against these best corners. Like
Yep.
he's just unguardable this year, man. Like he's just on
And
fire.
then,
Him and Darnold have an amazing connection. Christian Gonzalez is one of the best, but Christian Gonzalez just got beat by Marvin Mims for almost should have been the 70-yard touchdown. So I mean, he's not unbeatable. Nobody is. So and I think Darnold's done a really good job of running this offense effectively, especially in those blitzes. You're gonna
and they trust him to throw the ball. I mean, late in that Rams game,
yeah,
in the fourth quarter, like, you could have just handed the ball off 3 times and punted. They still were trying to pick up yards and end the game.
Right.
He just flew over this number against the Rams last week. He threw for 340. So, yeah. I think that he goes over this by
yeah.
a large margin.
Yeah. Look, all right, I'm going to give out 3 plays here to wrap this segment up. They're all receiving plays. Now, I'm going to go to an under. It's the Super Bowl. Everyone's betting the over, so I think we get some nice value on some unders here. Give me Rashid Shaheed under 1.5 receptions at plus 120 over at Bet365. I think this number is insane. Now, look, let's just read off his receptions from his last couple games. 1 catch for 51 yards last game. 0 catches on 2 targets the game before. 1 catch, 0 catches, and then 4, 5, 4, 1, 0, 2, 1. Since he's came to the Seahawks, he is basically big player bust.
Yep.
He's not a volume guy. I already think it's going to be a bit difficult to go on the outside. Patriots, they don't allow a ton of deep plays. Even still, I mean, he's going to get a couple shots. I think
Oh
Darnold
yeah.
will throw him 2 or 3
Oh yeah.
shots a game. I think it's smart to,
Have to
but
stretch. Yep.
it's very unlikely. Like if they hit one, they're happy. I
Yep.
don't think it's happening twice. Definitely not in this game. So give me the under 1.5, plus 120 there for a play that is hit in each of the last 5 weeks. This has gone 5 to the under. So if you want to play yards or longest reception, totally fine. I'm a Shahid. I just don't think he's not a volume guy. Definitely not with Seattle. So give me the under 1.5 receptions there.
And
Now,
that's
on the
that,
other,
that's a very nice reverse correlation type of a play as well, with the under receiving or receptions over receiving yards.
are you reading my sheet, brother? That's
I'm not, but to both of our benefits, I hope that's what potentially happens.
yeah. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Trust
Okay.
me. All right. On the other side of the receptions, Stephon Diggs over 4.5. He has 5+ targets in 5 of the last 6 games. The Seahawks have also allowed 5 catches to 5 different players in the last 3 games. He's a quick game guy. When there's going to be some pressure, and he got peppered with targets last
He's
week.
much more of a volume guy for
Yeah.
sure.
I mean, he had 5 catches for 16 or 17 yards last week. In that blizzard.
Wild
I
stat.
do think the Patriots are going to have to throw the ball a little bit more just via game script. So I like Diggs there. I was seeing some on the crazy exotic books. It's like more receptions or baby mamas or whatever. We're not going to get into him and his past and what he's doing over there, but hopefully him and Cardi B are in it for the long term. And
Bedroom ventures, yeah.
they are the what? They are the epitome of a power couple, So
Something like
good
that.
good luck to them.
Yeah.
Until next season, we'll see how long they're together. But the last one I got here, Kayshawn Booty over 17.5
Booty.
longest receiving yards. Booty's been the big play guy. Last week, only 1 catch for 6 yards, but he did have 6 targets. So Drake May is clearly trying to get in the ball. And when he tries to get in the ball, he is trying to get in the ball downfield. Against Houston, 3 catches, 75 yards, 32 was his longest. Against the Chargers, 4 catches, 66 yards, 42 yards was his longest. He's clearly become the big play guy for Drake May. That's been one of the better things they've been able to do. They haven't sustained a lot of offense, but they've been able to hit the big plays a little bit. And I do think, we saw Puka Nacua and a couple of these other guys get a little bit loose against Seattle. I do think that they will be able to hit one of these, and I do think it's going to go to Kayshawn Booty. So I'm going to go over the 17.5 longest receiving yards there. All right, my friend, that is our first segment, but don't worry, folks. We have plenty more bets for you coming up. And these are where we're going to start getting into some plus money stuff, because let's go ahead and round out the office with our Super TDs here.
Who doesn't like some Super TDs?
Super TDs, baby. That's what we're all about here. I will let you go first. What anytime touchdown plays are you taking in Super Bowl 60?
Yeah, I mean, I like AJ Barner a lot from a receptions angle. I think he finds the end zone in this one at plus 240. I mean, in general, like you were saying, I mean, he hasn't done a ton this postseason, but I think that just matchup wise, I think that they do try to stop JSN. They try to stop the running game more so, and AJ Barner is going to find himself, in the back of the end zone wide open for Sam Darnold. So yeah, AJ Barner plus 240.
Retweet, and I like that, man. I'm all over that as well. That is my one normalish kind of offensive guy play that I'm have. Again, I don't think there's going to be a shit ton of points scored, so I'm not going to spray too many of these. But Barner is one that I just think the value is there. I don't think he should be, getting up to plus 250 there. I do think he's going to be involved, and I do think the Patriots are susceptible to the tight end. So Barner was a touchdown machine earlier in the year. I think he gets back to it. What other play you got for show me your TDs, brother. What else you got?
Let me switch over to another tight end. It's a guy that we haven't talked about a ton, but Hunter Henry. Again, touchdown machine all regular season, hasn't done much this postseason, but nobody has on that New England offense from a
Fair.
touchdown standpoint. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, that linebacking core of Seattle is still going to be their weakest point, and I think that New England tries to attack that. So yeah, give me Hunter Henry at plus 235.
Yeah, I do like that. I obviously the Seahawks are susceptible to the tight end. That's been a very very public kind of trend there.
Yep.
But it's true. I mean, yeah, to Henry, I think he was very much like Barner. He was Mr. Reliable there for Drake May, and I think that they are going to be needing to throw the ball. So I actually don't mind that one. So yeah, Hunter Henry plus 235. All right,
Those are my only two. Like you were saying earlier, I mean, I took the under for this game. I don't expect there to be more than maybe 2 or 3 touchdowns the entire game.
Yeah, no. The other ones I'm going to give out here are a little bit fun, throwy. I'm taking both defense, special teams to score. They've both already done it this year. I mean, Rashid, you also not only do you have two aggressive, very good defenses going against two turnover worthy quarterbacks. I mean, both
100%.
these, I'll get to this in another segment, another market I'm going to talk about, but Drake May and Sam Darnold lead the NFL in quarterback fumbles. They both have Darnold's had the interception games, and these are two of the best returners in the game in Marcus Jones and Rashid Shaheed.
Yes.
We've already saw Rashid Shaheed open up the San Francisco playoff game with a touchdown. The New England Patriots, they had a pick six against CJ Stroud, one of their many turnovers they had. Like, these teams are opportunistic on defense, and their special team units, they have really, really solid return games there. So I think that that's an opportunity. I know you can just play the defenses and get a little bit better with jupes, but I want the special teams in this one. I do think special teams is going to matter. Seattle is a little bit chalkier. It's plus 370 over on DraftKings. New England's 5-1 plus 500. I'm okay to, I know it's not as crazy as the prices usually are, but these defenses are some of the best in the league at converting turnover opportunities. So Drake May and Sam Darnold, as good as they are getting to the Super Bowl, man, they have some ugly moments. And so I do think that's going to come up. Pressure, nerves, whatever it is. I do think that both these defenses and special teams are live to score touchdowns. But that's it for me as well. Not a ton, because I don't think there's going to be a ton of scoring.
Right.
All right. Next segment, getting to my favorite parts, baby, because it's all about the D, baby. We on this show talk defense, because defense matters, man. Defense matters. I even got you to get a defensive play in there. So I'll let you start, because I'm just very excited to bring you to the dark side.
Give me Nick Eamon-Wari over 4.5 tackles in this one. I mean, if we just look in the postseason, he had 5 in the this past week against the Rams. He only had 3 against the Niners there. But even going into the last 4 or 5 weeks of the regular season, he had 7, he had 3, 11, 7, 6. This is a tackling machine. I mean, he played safety in college, but he's now more of like a nickel kind of a role for Seattle. And I think as a whole, he's just a guy that flies around and makes tackles all over the place. So yeah, give me Nick Eamon-Wari over 4.5.
Yeah, and you got that at plus money, right?
Plus 128, yes.
Plus 128 is not bad. That's really nice, actually. And Eamon-Wari is such a fun guy to watch.
Yep.
I love defensive props because you really are paying attention to the whole game, right? You're not just like, hey, I hope this guy gets a catch. Like, it really kind of keeps you locked in. I love betting defensive props. And Eamon-Wari is a very fun guy to watch. He's always around the ball, right? Whether he's making a play on the ball or, making a tackle there. All right. I am going to go with an under. Give me Christian Ellis, New England linebacker, under 5.5 total tackles at plus 118. Now, I know it's a linebacker in a game where there may be some running, things like that. He's really not this tackling machine. He's had 4 tackles, and he did have 8 against the Chargers. He's 8 and then 5. Like, it's kind of hit or miss. And especially when Robert Spillane has been out, you would imagine that he has done better. but that's not actually the case. So I think this is kind of irregardless of Spillane plays or not. It's usually if Spillane doesn't play, Zach or Jack Gibbons is actually the guy who you want to be looking for the over tackles. But Ellis is pretty steady. I like the fact that he's had many games where he's finished with just 5 tackles. And if we're going to get plus money at the under, I think this is a good opportunity. Again, a lot of people are going to see a name they recognize. They're going to look to smash the over. I think there's some value in the under there for Christian Ellis. All right. That's the normal defense. But now we're getting a little bit more specified because we're talking Sack City, bitch. Sack City. That is where we're going. This is probably might be my favorite market to bet. I mean, if you've been following the show, I do it all the time. I've been doing it for years. I wish that the numbers were as available on Wednesday and our Wednesday show that I can give them out all the time, but they are this for this one. And boy, is this going to be fun. So I will go first, and I will try to not take any of yours, but I think I've got a little bit more than you do.
You do.
I've got 3 for each team, and I will start with.
I only have 1 for each team.
Yeah, I know. Okay. So I will talk about my kind of top-down theory of where I'm going with the bets, and that'll make it a little bit easier so I don't have to individually explain. Okay, so for the Patriots, when I'm looking at their side of the ball for the sacks, outside edge rushers and blitzes. That is where I'm targeting, right? So when I play sack markets in general, I typically like more of the dart throwy types unless I really, really feel good about one. Because even if your guy gets the pressure, he may not get the sack because he's leading the quarterback. Quarterback steps up or whatever, right? With Sam Darnold and the Seahawks offense, the rollout game is used a ton.
Yep.
So this is one where I think the outside edge rushers and the blitzes are really where you want to target. The Milton Williams and Christian Barmore, they've been great this season. But that's just not typically the pressure that's going to get home with these sacks because Darnold's out on the edge. He's doing these rollouts and things like that. So that's kind of where my head's at with this one. So for New England, I'll just kind of read off all the sacks I have for them, and then I'll switch it over to you. I'm going first with outside linebacker Elijah Ponder. Now, sack prices, just check the market. They are crazy different. So I will give you what I found when I bet these, I believe, yesterday or Monday.
Yep.
1+ sack for Elijah Ponder, plus 550 at FanDuel. Over a quarter of a sack at DK was plus 433. So obviously, understanding, in the sack market, you can get a half a sack. So it's kind of, you got to know what you're betting into. Yep. So if your guy gets half a sack, you're not cashing the 1+, right? I do think there's value on both. If you want to be more conservative, maybe he only gets a half sack, you take the over a quarter, plus 433. If you want to go full shebang, a 1+ a sack at FanDuel plus 550. Ponder is a guy who, the other thing is the Harold Landry thing I was talking about. He's not 100%. So I'm looking at Ponder. I'm looking at the other guy, Chason, right? Clavon Chason, who's had an amazing year over from the Las Vegas Raiders. Those are guys who are going to get more opportunities because Harold Landry is not there. So I'm on Ponder. I'm on Chason over a half a sack, plus 225 over on Score. And then Christian Ellis, the linebacker I told you, not a lot of tackles, but he blitzes a shit ton for this Patriots defense. So him over a half a sack on Scores, plus 475 there. So I'm on Chason, Ponder, and Ellis for the Patriots. What sacks do you got before I take all of them?
Patriots. I do. I took Chason as well. I didn't go the full half sack. I did over a quarter sack at plus 171. Instead, I think, to your point, I mean, Sam Darnold does do a lot of rollouts to the side, and that does lead to more full sack availability there. But by the time he does step up, I don't necessarily want to miss that half sack that Chason could get. So I took the plus 171. But switching over to the Seahawks, very different style of offense. Drake May typically is just a straight drop back guy. He will step up. He will try to run. Give me Leonard Williams at plus 178 for a full sack in that spot there.
Yeah, no, I love that. And getting to your point about a quarter sack, one of my favorite things as well is if you bet quarter sacks, you can cash 2 bets on one play. If
True.
two guys split a sack and you have both of them, that is an electric feeling. So take it from someone who's done it. It is amazing. So if you do play quarter sacks, maybe you're getting a little less numbers, but you can cash two bets in one play.
Sure.
So that's always fun. All right, for my Seahawks, yeah, for them, like you said, it's a different style of offense. So my philosophy here and what I'm thinking is everyone's available.
Yep.
If you look at the Patriots, man, like I said, Drake May has been sacked 5 times in each of these playoff games. It's insane. Like there's leaky stuff all over, man. Like so, just take your pick on who you like, and I that's why I have 3 on this side.
Yep.
I too obviously think there's going to be a decent amount of sacks. Demarcus Lawrence is one that over half a sack at plus 125 over at Score. He's their leading sack guy. On the playoffs for the year.
Yep.
He has been crushing it. And him against Will Campbell, good luck, Patriots fans. Good luck. Now that he's no longer a Cowboy, I can say nice things about him. But Demarcus Lawrence is going to absolutely eat. I love that play. Again, like I said, I typically am more in the dart throw variety when I do my sacks, but Demarcus Lawrence is one I feel good enough about that I'm fine only getting the plus 125 there. And then the other guys are dart throws. Derek Hall, the other defensive end outside of Demarcus Lawrence. Again, tackles, whether he gets Will Campbell or Morgan Moses, they are susceptible. Plus 360 for half a sack. And then Jaron Reed, a guy who's popped his head up a little bit. Like you talked about with Leonard Williams, the interior pressure has gotten to Drake May. So Jaron Reed is a guy who will rotate in. He's already got some sacks on the year in the postseason. Over a quarter of a sack at plus 436 there. So I'm going with mostly long shots here for the sacks. As a little recap, Chason and Williams for Derek. For myself, I'm on Elijah Ponder, Chason, and Ellis for the Patriots, all at over 2-1. And then Lawrence, Hall, and Reed for the Seattle Seahawks. All right, my friend, last segment here before we try to win you some money and get to our best bets. The super long shots. A little bit of our Degen plays here. Let's have some fun. It is the Super Bowl, so why don't you kick us off here? These are all what I'm looking. These are all over 5-1 plays.
Yep. My first one. I talked about George Holani and how I like his over rushing yards a little bit ago. Give me his 8+ carries at 10 or plus 1080.
8+. Whoa, okay.
8+ carries. Because I think this can get home in 2 ways. If the Seahawks end up getting to a lead and
big lead,
basically just end up needing to burn clock, they will have to spell Kenneth Walker, and Holani's going to be that guy.
Sure.
If for whatever reason Kenneth Walker also goes down, and he has a pretty extensive injury history over the past few years here,
yeah.
Again, Holani's the guy. So I think 8+ carries isn't crazy. Obviously he's not Zach Charbonnet,
right?
But there's only one game this year that Zach Charbonnet didn't get eight carries, and Kenneth Walker's been healthy all year.
Yeah.
So I think, in general, they got him a few carries this past game. I think that he could potentially get a few more in this one. So George Holani 8+ at plus 1080.
Yeah, shit. I'm gonna note that because I think looking at Holani's carries is interesting. Obviously, you bring up the point about he had 3 carries in his first game back from injury. He has a game with 15 carries on the year.
Yep.
But Kenneth Walker, unfortunate as it is, has been injured a ton. So if that happens, he's definitely getting there. So I don't. That's a really nice kind of sharp angle there. I like that. So I will be probably adding that to my card. All right, I've got a few here. Let me just do this. I do have a couple even dartier dart throws. I know that's not really a word, but for the sack market that I do just want to give out, and because I got a couple, so I'll just kind of round them all off here in a second. Yep. So most of my long shots looks like 4 out of my 6 are defense. So that tells you where my head's at. Seahawks linebacker Drake Thomas over a quarter or half a sack, 9-1 over on this was on the Score app there. Formerly ESPN Bet.
Yep.
This is one where he's had a couple sacks on the year, and when the Seahawks do blitz, although not often, he's the guy they're sending. They don't typically send Ernest Jones. I know Ernest Jones is the bigger name, so he's the one that you're thinking of. But Drake Thomas is the one they actually will send, and he's gotten a few sacks on the year at almost 10-1. I just think the price is a bit juicy. It does, like, in the sack market, you really, the big names, kind of the juice follows. So you really want to look for some of these guys who's had some production that aren't at the level of big names. So Drake Thomas is dart throw there. And then on the Patriots side, I talked about it. They like to blitz. They are a blitzing team, and they will blitz from wherever. Give me Marcus Jones at 1+ sack plus 970. He
Okay.
already has a sack in the playoffs, let alone on the year.
Yep.
And then safety Jalen Hawkins, 1+ sack at plus 1340. We're almost at 14-1 for one guy to get a sack. He's got a couple sacks on the year as well. It's just they're going to blitz guys from the secondary. Christian Gonzalez got a sack last week. I don't see that happening again, but that tells you they will blitz from wherever to keep you guessing. And I do think that some of these may get home. So for the Patriots, it's Jones and Hawkins, both, over 10-1, and then Drake Thomas for the Seahawks at 9-1 there. All right, what is your next long shot on the card?
Yeah, we talked about Kenneth Walker and his receiving yards earlier. We both took his over 20.5. What if he breaks one of these screen plays and ends up with 60 plus at plus 820? I don't necessarily want to miss out on that. I could definitely see Kenneth Walker having a massive role in the receiving game in this one. So yeah, Kenneth Walker, 60 plus receiving at plus 820.
No, I love that. Yeah, I think that is, I could definitely see it. We talked about the screen game. Yeah, I think Walker could be in for a really big day there. All right, we kind of hinted at this one, but Rashid Shaheed, under 1.5 receptions, over 21.5 receiving yards, 14-1 over on Bet365 there. I priced this out on the 4 books that I have available, and this was clearly the best number. So definitely shop around with this one. So negative correlation is always going to be a little bit different, but this is kind of his game, right?
Yeah.
When we look at Rashid Shaheed, just last game, this would have hit. He had 1 catch for 51 yards. If you go back to, he's done this a couple times this year, but he's the big play guy. I don't think he's going to get a ton of targets, maybe 2 or 3. I think he comes down with 1 and it winds up being over the 22 yards there. It's literally his game. He is the deep burner guy. He's going to get at least 1 target going deep there. So under 1.5 receptions, over 21.5 receiving yards. Nice reverse correlation, 14-1. Nice bet that if he gets it early, it's just going to be a sweat about don't throw it to him again. No more targets. So that's always a fun one to sweat out. So
no doubt.
What else you got, brother?
Yeah, let's. This is a funky one, but I like Drake May's rushing angle that you took earlier. I was looking more in the longest rush category, and basically I was looking at longest rush as a player. You could get that for Drake May at plus 350. If I took his longest rush up to maybe 20 plus, it's at plus 297.
Right.
And then I stumbled across these novelty props. And from my understanding, these next gen stats, if we look at longest distance ran, it's basically the ball carrier with the longest distance run from scrimmage on a single play.
Yep.
Well, unless there's a ball carrier that catches the ball near the line of scrimmage and then busts one to the end zone, i.e. potentially Kenneth Walker, I guess.
Yeah.
Outside of him, if that hits, cool. If this one hits, cool.
Right.
But Drake May is sitting there at 7-1. I mean, he's third behind JSN and Rashid Shaheed. To your point, I mean, Shaheed could take one to the house at any time. JSN just he's a freak with yak yardage as well. But I think that's the angle that I'm going to take with the Drake May longest rush as a whole. And this might be something where he just scrambles around in the backfield for 10 seconds and then gets 2 yards. It's still the longest
distance
ran, right? On a positive play, in my opinion. So yeah,
we were talking about this in the pre-production meeting because I was curious about it because I'm already on his rush yards, and I do like the longest rush. I do think he's popped some. So this is a fun one where, yeah, hopefully he scrambles around a little bit, does a little Mahomes, runs around, once to one side, once to the other side, and then
Yeah,
runs up the field for 20
yeah.
yards.
30 of those yards could be behind the line of scrimmage from all
Yeah. Yeah, one of the classic. Oh, look at this! He ran 100 yards on this play and got 20 yards. Like we
Yeah.
need one of those, and I think quarterback, especially with the pressure, run away from it. I do like that play. So yeah, man, 7-1 there. I think it's a good price. I'm definitely jotting that one down for the personal kitty there. Okay, like you, the NFL is smart. They gave us all this extra time. They say it's for player safety and to get these guys healthy. No, they did it so we can be looking at,
All
oh,
benefits.
I got to study a game for 2 weeks. Let me
That's
look at
right.
this. Oh, look at this market. This is fun. So
That's
I
right.
also stumbled across a market that I think is awesome for this game. And it is on DraftKings. It is in the defensive props, and it is the sack specials. And it
Mm.
is for a player to record a sack and a forced fumble. And if we look at Drake May, he's got 6 some
A
fumbles
few of
in
those.
the playoff.
Yeah.
And the guy I feel most confident to get a sack in this game is DeMarcus Lawrence. So
Sure.
for DeMarcus Lawrence to get a sack and cause a fumble, 11-1. He is the quote unquote chalk in this market, but I
Yeah.
do think there is value here. DeMarcus Lawrence crushing it for the playoffs, going
Yep.
up against Will Campbell. Drake May has had the situational awareness of a baby giraffe and is just not held onto the ball.
Yeah.
So I love DeMarcus Lawrence to eat Will Campbell's lunch and take the ball away. 11-1 is a very, very fun market there. I will probably be throwing a couple dart throws in this one. Probably Derek Hall 35-1 and Chase on 15-1. Why do I know that off the top of my head? Because I've also bet those. But DeMarcus Lawrence is the one for the sheet. So
Yeah, no, I'll
11 to
just
1
like
there.
to add that one to my list as well. I like that angle. Yeah, I have a couple more here. Let's
What do you
talk
got?
let's talk special teams for just a second because
Love
to your
it.
point, I do think that special teams is going to matter. Historically, especially when non Hall of Famer Bill Belichick was up there with the New England Patriots. It was their special teams was just different. Their special team was locked and loaded.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's necessarily always the case this year with the New England Patriots. And the Seattle Seahawks have one of the best special teams units in all of football.
Yeah.
And obviously, this can go either way, but I do think special teams is going to matter. And I'm not going to be sitting on the couch when this doesn't happen without some money on it. So, blocked punt in this game at 17-1
Dude, and so you're talking, and this is just in the game, right?
in the game.
Regardless of who it is. So you talked about the Seahawks and their superior special teams, which is a big point. But also, like individual players, obviously we talked about Marcus Jones on the Patriots, but the Schooler kid, the Brandon Schooler kid, I think he came out of Texas Tech. Like I have a vivid memory of him doing that whole run up and come, and I think it was a field goal that he blocked. But
Yep.
like that's a baller on the special teams for them as well. So both these special team units are live. Block punt 17-1. I like it, man. That's a fun one to have. I do think special teams will matter in this game. So yeah, that's solid. All right, my longest shot of the game, Jack Westover, anytime touchdown, 35-1 over on
Okay.
FanDuel. This is at multiple
Bring
places.
the fullback into play. Okay.
Yeah, dude. Look, it's just one of those. He does not have a touchdown on the year. I
One of
understand.
those lost positions of the
It's a
past
35-1
15, 20
play.
years.
He's on the field all the time. I went back and watched a couple of playoff games. He does have a catch in the playoffs. He's got a couple catches on the year. He could always get the ball as a handoff. Like
Sure.
he's on the field all the time. I just don't think a guy who should on the field so much should be 35-1. So I'm going to take a dart throw here. Obviously, it's the longest odds on the board for me. But 35-1, Jack Westover, anytime touchdown.
Don't mind that one. Don't mind that one. So last play that I have. Let me get in the MVP race here for the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Give me Kenneth Walker, MVP, 8-1. I think, obviously he could get there rushing the ball. I do think that, he's the chalkiest play, anytime touchdown.
Right.
I think that he gets there because he's such a threat through the receiving
Yeah.
area. So yeah, give me Kenneth Walker MVP at plus 800.
This is one that I stared at long and hard. I have not pulled the trigger yet, but like, man, the last game, Kenneth Walker, it was the Kenneth Walker show.
Yeah.
He's a guy who's had a 3 touchdown game on the year.
Yep.
It's just has the potential. Usually, it's a winning quarterback award. That's typically what it is.
For
But
sure.
Sam Darnold has that stigma of
By
being
the time he throws for 240 yards, gets his over on receiving or passing yards, but throws a pick or two,
right, a
and
turnover, and
65 of those passing yards were to Kenneth Walker, and
right,
he also has that on the ground. Like
yeah,
I think both from both angles. I don't necessarily take this as just a quarterback award this year. I think, obviously they get the ball every play,
sure,
but I do think other guys will have to win
yeah.
this award because I think they're going to be needed to win the game.
Yeah, and there's it's a media driven award. It's a public perception award, and Sam Darnold's public perception not that great. So, and obviously, hey, surprise, surprise. Still check out the full
If
breakdown of the video.
if DeMarcus Lawrence gets a couple sacks and a forced fumble, I might have to look at his price.
No, dude, I don't know. I would love for it to be given to a defensive guy, but that's pretty much
happens occasionally.
Oh man, I don't know. We'll see. You're right. You're right. That's
the last time these two teams played. It was a defensive guy.
What? Who was it? It wasn't Butler? Was it?
I'll look it up.
I know DeMarcus Ware is one that's coming to my mind that I believe he won when he was on the Broncos, but that was when their defense just shut them down. But yeah, you looked that up. But hey, folks, we weren't lying when we told you it was a propapalooza. We had bets for you in every single angle, and we're going to give you an opportunity right now to make a little bit of money here. Talking about $100 for absolutely free. We're doing a $100 giveaway from our new sponsor over at Statement Games. It is very, very simple to be eligible. All you have to do is subscribe to this channel if you're not already subscribed. It takes 1 second. By the time I'm explaining this, you should be done. Just click the subscribe button. And the second thing, well, there's really 3 things. We kind of left one off. But 1 thing, subscribe. 2, make a Statement Game slip that we're going to show you how to do. And then 3, drop a comment that includes your username on Statement Games and your best prop pick for the game. So again, very, very simple. I will make sure that the instructions are included in the description below. But subscribe, make a slip, drop a comment with your username and your best pick. Very simple for you. And we will go ahead and bring up Statement Games here to show you how easy this is. Let me go ahead and move some things around there.
So while you do that, I was mistaken. It was Tom Brady that won the Super Bowl, or the Super Bowl MVP when the Patriots defeated the Seahawks.
Okay.
In Seattle's only Super Bowl win the year before against the Denver Broncos, Malcolm Smith, the linebacker, won MVP. He had an interception for a touchdown and a fumble recovery and 10 tackles.
There you go. Okay. I like it. So, Statement Games, folks. Very, very simple. What you'll do, go to statementgames.com. Then you'll go ahead and this is play.statementgames.com and join a contest. You go to NFL and it'll show the Super Bowl. We have already started a slip, so I'm going to go to my account and edit the selection here. Essentially, what you do over at Statement Games is you pick 10 props or 10 picks for the game, and then you rank them based on your confidence level. So 10 points is the play that you are most confident. 1 point is the play you're at least confident. So Derek and I here have already combined, and you'll probably see some overlap from the plays we've given out. We've combined and made a slip here with our 10 plays. We are now just going to rank based on our confidence here to show you a little bit of the functionality and how easy it is. And then we'll finish this episode out with best bets and get on our way here. All right, brother, we have our 10 plays here. You just click the ad and it gets over here, and then you rank them. So where are we feeling most confident here? Do we go ahead and drop the cojones on the table and just say Seahawks to win by over 4.5 to cover the spread is our most confident play? Where are you at here? We want to go prop or we want to go spread?
I mean, I really like the Seahawks in this matchup, so I wouldn't mind that unless you And
Nope. Let's do it. So we
prop.
are spoiler at this point. Yes, we are both on the Seahawks minus 4.5. Still check out that video for a full breakdown analysis. We also have a couple other bets we give out in that video that we did not give out here
Yep.
from last week. But that's what we'll go with our 10 play. We are both very high on Kenneth Walker in the receiving.
Yeah.
So you want to go ahead and throw that one up there on the 9 slot.
Not at all. Yep.
Perfect. AJ Barner, another one we both have and agree
Yep.
on. Are you good
Move that one
there?
up a little bit. Yep. I like
Perfect.
that.
Okay.
I
Seahawks.
think. I think Seattle to get a sack. Move that one up probably above Barner. Actually.
Okay, there we go.
Love that one.
All right. Let's see. What about the Jason Meyer field goal? Longest field goal over 37.5 or 37 yards. Pretty low.
That's pretty low. Yeah, I don't mind that one. Maybe move that one somewhere in the middle there for at least.
Okay, we'll move that one up a little bit. I'm on the Patriots team total under 20.5. We're both have it here. How high would you like that one?
I put it 5 or 6. Yeah.
Okay, we'll go middle there. All right. You are big on the Sam Darnold over passing yards. You want to leave that one there?
I know you like Booty.
I do like Booty. Yes, the over longest reception there. And then we have Steph Diggs over the receptions and Matt Collins under 3 receptions. Not really a volume guy, more of a big play guy.
Yep.
So that is our slip, and it is just that easy. You go ahead and save that, and boom. If you go 10 for 10, you hit all of your plays. Basically, you show that you know ball. You go 10 for 10, you subscribe, and you drop on the comments here your username and your favorite prop. Very simple. It costs nothing for the chance at $100.
Free play.
Take our boss's money. We are trying to help you out here. It is a very, very easy and fun system to play. So head on over to Statement Games. It's play.statementgames.com and make your Super Bowl slip today. All right, let's go ahead and finish out here with our. Let's go ahead and move that back here. Oh, no. I got to do this. There we go. So how much we can hear our screen. All right. Best bet segment, and let's get out of here and end this NFL season here. Okay. I will let you start off, my friend. It is the last best bet segment of the year. Where are you going in this one? What is your lock for Super Bowl 60?
Yep. I like Barner. I like Walker. I like JSN. I like Sam Darnold's over 230.5 passing yards. I mean, all of those guys could have a massive game, and I think each of them are going to play a big role in this one. And like I said earlier, I think New England really likes to stop the run. And from a Kenneth Walker standpoint, I think his big part of this game is going to be through the receiving angle. So, yeah, Sam Darnold over 230.5 passing yards.
Yeah, I really like that angle. You talked about a different couple ways. Like you said, Walker out of the backfield. We both like Barner. We both like Walker. JSN is going to get his. So, 230 is a pretty low total for Darnold. Been a really efficient offense this year.
Flew over this a week ago.
In a similar play, because it's one of the guys he'll be throwing to, give me Kenneth Walker over the 20.5 receiving yards, minus 110.
Yep.
He has hit this number 5 of the last 6. He has big play potential. And I think especially against this Patriots blitz-heavy team, that screen pass, like we talked about over and over again, he is liable to take one to the house. So Kenneth Walker over the 20.5 receiving yards is my favorite play on the board. What about a little bit of a dog? What's a favorite plus money play that you are very high on in this one?
Yeah, give me the defensive one that I threw out there. Nick Eamon-Wari, over 4.5 tackles at plus 128. I mean, the dude flies around. He's always around the ball. He makes plays all the time. So, yeah, give me his over tackles.
I feel like a proud dad watching his kid take their first steps. You giving out a defensive play as one of your best bets, man, that is just great. Wow, what a beautiful game football is. For me, Sam Darnold over 2.5 rushing attempts, plus 112. He has been crushing this number. I think 5 out of the last 6 or 6 out of the last 7. That includes kneels downs, but also Patriots are going to blitz him. He's going to have to step up and make some moves there. He's done this just last game. He had 3. I really like this play for Darnold to get over the 2.5 rush attempts at plus 112 there. All right. ending it as we always do with a Degen play. What is your favorite Degen play that you gave out on this episode?
Yeah, I went back and forth between a few of our long shots that I threw out earlier. I I decided on the George Halani play, but mainly because there's a couple different angles to which he could get to that 8+ carries mark. So yeah, George Halani 8+ carries at 10 or plus 1080.
Yeah, I like I said, I do really like that one. I think you laid out a nice case there. Look, we especially do not wish injury on anybody, but Kenneth Walker's injury history cannot be overlooked. We hope he stays healthy. We've got decent amount of money on Kenneth Walker in this game, but whether it's an injury or Halani in a game script gets a decent amount of carries because Walker's used to being spilled at 11-1. I like that. And then for me, I'm going to finish it out with some defense, as everybody should. DeMarcus Lawrence to have a sack and cause a fumble. Drake May has tiny hands. He's got a balls issue. He just can't hold on to the ball. It's got 6 fumbles in the playoffs. DeMarcus Lawrence is going to take Will Campbell to school. It's going to be the welcome to the NFL movement in the Super Bowl. Unfortunate, but Drake May is going to get drilled. He's going to lose the ball. And hopefully for me, somebody picks it up and returns it for a touchdown. But just to cause a fumble and have a sack, DeMarcus Lawrence 11-1. That's it, folks. Super Bowl 60, Prop-A-Palooza. We gave out a shit ton of bets, just like we told you we would. It is the Super Bowl. We hope everyone has a fun, safe Super Bowl, enjoys it. As a quick wrap up, man, this has been an awesome season. Derek and I's first season on the channel. We took over the page at like 100, 200 subscribers. Yep. We are now closing in on 1,000. College, NFL, you guys have absolutely responded and crushed it as far as likes, comments, subscribes. We really appreciate it. What do you got for the people before we get on out of here?
Heck yeah, man. I mean, it's been a fun year as a whole on the new page, and we appreciate everything. I mean, it'll be a little bit before you see us again. We usually do a show or two around NFL draft time, talk about the college guys moving on to the next level, trying to figure out where they're going to be suiting up come 2026, 2027 season. But yeah, appreciate all of the love throughout the season. Don't forget, we're trying to give away free money. Just comment.
Yes.
Your favorite prop, your username for X. And if you do end up beating us in statement games, hats off to you. But
hey, go take our boss's money, man. Yeah. It is very easy, $0 to enter. It is a shot at $100. Everybody loves free money. And as Derek said, not a bad time to turn on the notifications because you may be seeing us sporadically in the off season, whether there's some training camp stuff, NFL draft. We'll see.
Talk about some injuries,
injury stuff.
Moving on to next year. Yeah,
there was some UFL talk last year. We'll see how that happens this year. Just opening the door. So if you want to turn on the notifications to let us know, hey, comment what you want us to hear. The off season, we're always chomping at the bit to get to a couple things there. Talk about some betting and things like that. So again, we appreciate all you guys for all your support. Only fitting. One last cheers to Super Bowl 60. Great NFL college season. Cheers to you, brother. Cheers to y'all. You know what they say. A lock a day keeps the bookie away. And here at the Degen Doc, we've got your prescription. From Professor Locke and Doc here on DFSG Plus, we are out here.